Now, I am hoping that I can do this again and that my voice and my movements of my mouth, etc., will be related to one another at least and not freezing, etc. What's karma? I've talked about karma before. I'm talking about karma now. And what I'm going to tell you is that karma is something that we all are part of. It's a part of the universe. It's what the universe is about. 650 billion galaxies, our karma interacts with all of them in one way or another. It doesn't mean punishment. You know, some people say bad karma, good karma, but it doesn't really mean punishment. It means moving on and figuring out how to move on in a positive direction with the lessons from this last life or other lives held on to or learned. So what do bad karma and good karma mean? Well, karmic definitions are sometimes confusing, that's admitted. If we look at the short definition from Wikipedia, it means action or work or deed, and refers to the principles of causality, where intent and actions of an individual will influence the future of that individual. Good intent and good deed contribute to good karma and future happiness, while bad intent and bad deed contribute to bad karma and future suffering. Karma is closely associated with the idea of rebirth and multiple lifetimes and reincarnation. There's no doubt about that. Especially this is true in some schools of Asian religious thinking, but this is true anyway. It's true from what I know, and I know a lot. You may not believe it. But karma in the present basically will affect everything that's going to happen to you in the future to one extent or another. If you ever watch the movie Defending Your Life, it doesn't really discuss karma per se, and it has some strange bits to it. But in many ways, it does sort of summarize the whole picture of what karma is about. Do we learn? Have we learned? And if we have learned, can we move on wherever we need to move on to? But the thing about it is, in this multiverse, in this universe where we have 650 billion galaxies, moving on with the speed of thought could go from here to Ursa Major to some galaxy way over on the other side of the universe. Billions and billions and billions, untold billions of light years away. But thought has no limitation. There's no time component to thought. You think about something, you picture it, and you're there. That's the whole idea. Overall, the concept of karma has taken on many forms. It's been bastardized many ways by Western religion. And you know, you hear people saying, what goes around comes around. Well, that's karma. That really is. People say this often, along with cavalier statements like, well, if we can do this, maybe not this life, but we can do it in another one, or if this were another life, then maybe we could be doing what we want to do, or something of that nature. So we have generally seemed to accept both karma and reincarnation in daily routine, but Western religions, especially Christianity, although Jesus himself said you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven lest you be born again, and he did not mean spiritually born again. He meant physically born again, and you need to be born again many, multiple times, thousands of times, in order to learn everything you need to know in order to be in heaven. The idea of heaven and hell after one lifetime is totally ridiculous. You don't learn enough in one lifetime to become able to be in heaven, even if there were a heaven, or in hell if there were a hell. You need to continuously learn in order for your overall spiritual and karmic knowledge to increase to the point where you understand what's going on, really. Memories are supposed to provide us and occasionally present situations which touch karmic memory, and when they do, then we say something like, oh my gosh, I've been through this before. Boy, I feel this. This is something very odd, because it's like it happened before. And then that's that feeling of deja vu, and what it is we've touched on a karmic memory of something that did happen before. And that something we did happen before, or that did happen before, that we did experience before, is something that we're experiencing again. And the thing is, we need to do the right thing this time. Maybe we didn't last time when we experienced the same thing. And we need to understand that the reason we have similar situations occur is so that we have the opportunity to choose to do the right thing. As a short and revealing explanation, I say that it's indeed karma which determines what sort of life we'll live. But our karma isn't really tallied up by some universal scorekeeper. It's tallied up by us. This physical body is nothing, really. When something happens to it, nothing happens to you. This is like the car you're driving. And right now, it's what you need, and you need to take care of it if you want to drive it and keep driving it for a while. But our real being is never touched by anything that happens to our physical body. If we do something that intentionally harms others in this life, if we could have chosen not to, then that develops some bad karma. On the other hand, we still have the opportunity, maybe through a deja vu type experience, to do the right thing in the next life. And that's how we learn and we progress and we move on. Believe it or not, personal deviations from right then cause problems that end up giving us some bad karma. The tabula karma, that's kind of your total of karmic experiences, will determine from your own determination what you need to do in order to live the next life with the challenges that you need to face to improve. We do have some, things that can kind of make our responsibility a little less if we get put into a situation that we didn't really anticipate, and that could happen, although it usually doesn't, but it could. And we are working as an agent for somebody else and we do wrong. That's not as bad in many ways. It doesn't build up quite the karmic debt as deciding and initiating to do something bad on our own. If we had no choice, we always have choice. We could let them kill us or whatever, or we could do what they asked. But basically, if we thought we had no choice because of one reason or another, and we did something bad, that is not as karmically telling, or it doesn't tabulate quite as much bad karma as initiation of something bad ourselves. Overall, our karma is affected in a negative fashion if we cause individual or collective harm, if there was a way to have avoided causing that harm, or the situation which resulted in the harm. Really, it's important to understand that our best course of action in all conditions is to be nice. I've said this many times. Being right doesn't make you nice necessarily, but being nice will always, ultimately, especially karmically, make you right. If we build up bad karma, then we have to make a plan after we pass on to live a life dedicated to correction of the karmic imbalance. The reason there's no heaven or hell is because life is about learning and spiritual advancement, not rewards and punishment. I don't know why we were forced into that kind of thought process that everything, there are payoffs and that we need rewards or punishment. No, the reward is living properly, living right, and knowing that we did the right thing and that we were able to get along and help others in our own personal quest for knowledge. So to burn and suffer eternally for one life is crazy. Our lives in this lifetime, even if we happened to be closer to immortal, or if we lived 500 years or something like that, are just a speck, a flash in the pan. The universe is multiple billions of years old. And we have been here ever since the universe started, learning, growing, experiencing whatever we need to experience. Although, to tell you the truth, that may have been yesterday, because remember, time is only a construct for our convenience to kind of measure in any particular given lifetime. The most important thing we can do is learn to uplift one another and learn to love unselfishly and to follow our consciences. And our consciences are what were given to us by God, not some holy book that was written by men who told you it was written by God. Our learning and learning to love unselfishly is the most important thing we can do and the greatest advancement we can make. To be rewarded with a heavenly existence after perhaps only one lifetime serves to deny the multidimensionality of existence. Learning about it is fun. Learning is fun. Living is fun. And when you know that you have more than one chance at doing things, you have a tendency not to be so hasty and not to be so angry, because you know you'll get a chance to do it again. And not only that, you know, some people say, well, I want to go to heaven and meet daddy or mommy or, you know, be with all my relatives. Well, you're going to be with your relatives. You're going to be with them sometime, one time or another, because you all keep interacting. We all have certain individual personalities, spiritual companions who we will always interact with at one time or another. Sometimes very intimately we're associated with them and they will be with us almost everywhere, and some that are just kind of passing through. Sort of like the NPCs, the non-player characters, for us. Now for other people, they're not. And we're NPCs, we're non-player characters, but nonetheless, that's what it's all about. We don't just have this one chance. We have many, many, many chances to learn and to understand. And so we don't need to be hasty. We don't need to accumulate material goods. They do us no good. They're gone when we're gone. Our physical bodies are gone. The real purpose of existence is to learn, and knowledge is something that can never be taken from you. Do you understand? It can never be taken from you. Life needs challenges, and the only way to be able to face them is to be able to be surprised and never end the learning process. And this, my friends, this is the purpose of karma. Thank you.